Hey everybody, Q&A answers time. Apologies, I'm 2 days late. Unfortunately, we had a house full of my nieces over the weekend and finding any time to be quiet and record a video was difficult. Okay, first question. Is it Played 13? Hypothetical question. If the surgery didn't go well and you lost part of your leg, would you have gotten a wooden peg leg and taught a parrot to hang out on your shoulder and say "arr" a lot? Yes. A pirate's life's not a bad one. I'll go with that. The next question, is it lawful? How does it hurt to ride in the rain? If not, what does it feel like? Strange question. Does it hurt to ride in the rain? Low speeds? No. What does it feel like? Wet. However, at higher speeds, if you're doing like dual carriageway motorway speeds, it can get a bit stingy on the legs if you're completely soaking wet, freezing cold, and you have pelting rain hitting you in the legs. That can be quite uncomfortable. But to be honest with you, the bigger problem's hail. That fucking kills and it gets you in the neck. So, there you go. Wet overall. Okay, next question. I'm not going to even try and pronounce this name. Do you like the Armsman TT? If so, do you ever intend going over there one year to watch the live races? I think it is probably the truest, most extreme motorsport, or sport in a way, that there is, because no other sport can I think of there is such long durations of time where you are literally one tiny little mistake from being dead. You have to have huge balls. And the speed that they're travelling down the road, the speed that they have to process that, well, they can't physically process it, they must just feel it. Because, obviously, you know, if you're playing a computer game, for instance, I know it's not the same, but it is comparable, and things are going really quickly, the quickest method is not to think about it, is just to feel it and do it. As for going there, I doubt I'll have that much money available. Going there during race week, as I understand it, is extremely expensive. That's what I've heard, it might be wrong, I know plenty of you have probably gone. Mr. King Beanie, don't know if it's... have you thought about starting your own courier business or joining one with your bike, like documents and small stuff? Or a job that you ride for? Couriering, yes, I like the idea, you know, you get to travel around, nothing's the same each day, you get to ride a bike, sounds great and everything. However, I don't think I could actually do it, not being on a full licence. And actually I was talking about this with someone a while ago, I can't remember if it was a comment or a message or what, but basically he was saying he was a courier and if I wanted to start it would be good, but I'd probably need about £1,000 to start with. And the other thing is doing it on a 125, yeah, okay, locally it would work, but I don't think there's that much call for it around here. And it would require me to go distances that would require me to have a bigger bike. So when I have a full licence, I'll see what happens. Maybe it's something I'll consider, but I just don't see the need. Is there that great a need for couriers in London, motorcycle couriers? I mean, I know documents have to be sent backwards and forwards for things to get signed quickly and everything, but is there really that much of a need for them these days? You tell me, I don't know. Slushy29, do you wear earplugs when you're riding, not earphones? No, I do not wear earplugs or earphones. Basically, I just never have. On the motorway, well, sorry, dual carriageway, you might think that there'd be an idea, but I mean, the furthest I really rides up to places like Brighton, in a dual carriageway sense, and I didn't notice the noise was too bad. Plus, when I'm riding, I do listen to music using my headset as well, so no, I don't. And people might say, that's stupid, you're going to lose your hearing. Possibly, possibly. Problem is, my work is the sound of being underneath a massive extractor fan and the clattering and everything. I think we once had a decibel meter on a phone. I don't think they were accurate, but it was like something like, what was it? Was it something like 90 decibels? I can't remember exactly, but it was ridiculous how loud it is in there. You have to shout when you're that far apart, almost. Neon Martin, my other half isn't all that happy about having got a bike licence. Any ideas how to help her get used to the idea that I'll be riding bikes more often? I always get asked the question, how do I convince my parents to let me ride a bike? This isn't such a common question, although I appear to have been asked it by 3 different people on this one alone, so it's interesting why that's come around that way. Without saying, just putting someone on a motorbike and making them go and ride it and just feel that feeling you know, that this is something I want to always do, and I would feel sadder without it. I don't know how you convince them. Just, if they're most probably, the thing they're going to be worried about, isn't it, is the danger. If you can convince them that you will be responsible and a courteous driver, and you won't take those little mistakes, little gaps and stuff, you know, where it can all go wrong in a split second, if you become a very safe rider, if you can convince them of that, then I suppose they'd be happy. The other side of it is just to say, shut up, I like bikes, you like rabbits. Go and buy her a rabbit. Whichever one satisfies them more, fluffy or not. Top advice! Okay, the next question. John Saunders. Spicy, when are you going to do more green laning? Seriously? I have noticed quite a few people have been asking me, why haven't you been going green laning? Well, the last time I went green laning, a few days after that was when my foot really started to hurt. It was just aggravated by, you know, just the riding and the pushing and stuff. It was inflamed, and that's when they thought it was a ganglion cyst. And if you now know the whole story, I soon learnt that I had a broken foot, and then I had surgery. But to give an answer to that question, I don't actually know when I'll be riding next. Of course, my plan is stitches out, boot on, off I go, I'll be fine. Problem is, I'm getting a lot of pain developing, more and more of it since the operation, and I'm not sure how my foot's gonna take to being squeezed into a boot and zipped up. I'll have to see. So, riding is the first thing I need to get past before I can think about going to the extents of green laning. I hope my foot will be strong enough and like back to normal enough to be able to go green laning this year, but I've thought things would get better quicker than they actually do many times, so I don't know. I honestly don't know. Devon Melon, he's a fruit. At what specific point did your popularity shoot up and why? I wouldn't have said it ever did. I'm very glad that I have 28,000 subscribers nearly. But it's been a lot of hard work. I've made nearly, about 460 videos I think it is, or something like that, in the past, well, this September it's 3 years. I've put a lot of work into it. Maybe that's why. But if you look at things like when I first started, for someone to have 28,000 subscribers would have been a lot. I mean, really a lot. The only people that were like, you know, were way off there were like things like M13, and the whole motovlogging world has exploded. Now it's possible for someone who is very, very good at what they do, or for some reason something they're doing is really, you know, it's drawing people in, to get, you know, up the upper 70, 80,000 subscriber type mark. Obviously Jake's now accelerated past M13 on subs. Chase on 2 wheels, he's doing extremely well, as is Baron. So my feeling on it is that in my early days I had outstanding growth for a new motovlogger. I was doing extremely well, but now I feel like I'm much more in the middle ground. I don't feel like I'm way above anyone particularly. I think I've grown in a very natural curve. In fact, if you look at my stats, it was very natural. But the thing is, everyone else has moved away from me, so I wouldn't consider myself to have shot up in popularity, particularly. I suppose then it poses the question, would we see a motovlogger with 1 million subs? If Jake carries on the way he's going, maybe in time he will get that far. I mean, there's no reason for it to slow down. It speeds up and becomes more exponential, so it's very, very possible. Jamie Garner, have you got any future modifications in mind for your bike? If so, what would they be? I'm not telling you what they are, particularly. Nothing special, just bars, basically. I'm not going to tell you. Bars, and some other bits, front end wise. I'm planning to buy today or tomorrow, and the plan is to get it all fitted to the bike before I start riding again. Just basically, I want to freshen up the bike a bit, just make it feel different. And I remember what I'm basically doing to this bike, I sort of did to the other bike in a way, but not quite as advanced. And it made it feel much better, so that's what I'm doing. So yes, they're in the pipework, I'm not telling you what, but you should see them by the time I start riding again. The infamous biker, do you think that some sort of theory test should be added to the CBT here in the UK? So, well, there isn't a CBT anywhere else in the world, as far as I understand, so sorry to be, I'm splitting hairs now, shut up, you dick. What's that, so that riders who may have not had any experience of road can at least learn the rules of the road. Sub-question, is the CBT too easy? I think it is. Should a theory test be added to the CBT? Well, I'm going to explain to you how the theory side of my CBTs has gone. Some road theory. Here is the highway code. Held a book up, said read it, and then lobbed it back in the container. I shit you not. It was just like, read it. I was just like, that seems a bit irresponsible, but I knew the rules of the roads. Should they add in a theory test? I don't think a theory test is required. I just think they need to push the instructors to maybe take a bit longer than 5 minutes to go over some road stuff. I'm sure there are instructors out there who sat you down for a bloody hour and went through it page by page. So maybe I can only comment on the place that I do my CBTs at, and I'm not going to mention who those people are because I don't want to cause them any shit. I think that is a worthwhile point. Is the CBT too easy? Yeah, it probably is actually, because you know, people can just get on a bike, but then the problem you have here is the CBT is supposed to be where you learn. That's the point of it, and I know being out on the road is a good chance you could, if you don't know what you're doing at all, you could get very badly hurt. So maybe it could be a little stricter. Maybe you've got to prove you're a little bit more capable. But that's the very point of what the instructor is supposed to do, is to not allow someone onto the road on a CBT unless they feel they're safe to do so. And then the problem is, how someone rides on CBT day doesn't mean that day after CBT day they're going to ride the same. I'd say yes, basically they should maybe should have an hour of theory within the CBT enforced, as they do 2 hours on the road. And as for making it harder, yeah, I think probably it is worthwhile. I mean, maybe not necessarily make it harder, but be more willing to say no to someone getting a CBT, because you know, as they say, CBT isn't a test, it's just a course you have to pass, and unless you are a complete imbecile, and no offence to anyone who's actually failed on them like CBTs, you may have just, maybe you're very new and needed practice, so, but some people it's just they can't seem to get it, then be willing to say no a bit more readily. I don't know, as I say, very interesting. Alex Barnes, which do you prefer, the Motorcycle or the Hidden Worlds videos, and why? Interesting question. I love my vlogging. It's what I do. I've been doing it for a long time now, but I do get a lot of satisfaction out of my Hidden Worlds videos, because I feel like I'm actually, you know, I'm teaching some people some things, and I'm always quite pleased with the videos, the quality of the videos, and what I can show people. That's, you know, if I say to someone, go and find an elephant hawk moth, they might have trouble doing that. But then again, there's another angle on it, which is the moto-vlogs. They're very, very easy to make, they're easy to edit, they're very, sort of, there's not a lot I have to think about too much. It's just speaking my mind, talking about something I'm interested in, basic editing, and it's online. With the wildlife stuff, I mean, you know, obviously I have to know about the animals, which I do anyway, so it's easy, catch the animals, film them, and you know, as I say, it's difficult to work with things where you try and work with an insect. It's not like you tell it what to do. And then there's the editing and the narration and all of that, and it's a lot of work. I probably put as much work into one of the Hidden Worlds videos as I do into maybe 4 vlogs, in the amount of time it's taking me to do everything. It's time consuming and difficult, but as I say, maybe that's another reason why I really enjoy the outcome of those videos, because I'm not saying I don't put effort into my vlogs, but there is an awful lot of extra effort needed to make that video. You can't just, you know, jump on a bike, talk and be done. Okay, I'm trying to get through a few questions quickly because I've done some very wordy answers up to now, and I realise this video is going to be very long, and now I'm talking more and making it worse. So let's just get on and answer Zeffy 1001's question, which is, what is my favourite cheese? And the answer to that is cheddar. Plain, good old cheddar. Mature, not gritty and salty. That is an important fact. Gritty, salty cheese, do not like it. A mature Cathedral City is a good cheddar. The Anchor one we had recently, that's actually really nice. The extra mature version of that, very mature, but a nice cheese nonetheless. Stop your laughing. Cheese is important. Zeffy 1001 knows it. Matt Steele. Hang on a minute, I recognise that name and that picture and that bike. I devalued his bike significantly. I am looking at starting my own gardening business. and need to get a van. My wife told me I need to sell the bike to fund it. Oh shit. Or as I just mentioned, even the thought of selling it brings a tear to my eye. What should I do? Well, thankfully, because of me signing your bike on the me, it's now not worth anything. You're not going to buy a van for 50p, so tell the wife, I ruined it, it's my fault, you can't sell the bike. If she wants to send me an email and have a go at me, she can do that. But no, I would say, you know, obviously starting a business is a very important thing. But when you're a motorcyclist, and I get the feeling you're, you know, a through and through biker, selling your bike, it's not really an option. It's like saying, oh, I need to buy something, shall I sell a kidney? Actually, I probably would sell a kidney before I'd sell my bike. If you need money quickly, and you think maybe you could do without a bike for a few months and maybe earn money back to buy a bike again, no, don't do that. I'm sorry, mate, I don't know, but don't sell your bike. Unless you absolutely have to, because I know it would make you very sad. How you get this across to wife, as I say, is she needs to understand what that bike means to you. Find something of hers which she could not do without. Hide it. And make her sad. And then be like, oh, here it is. And she'll be like, oh, I'm so happy. And you can say, well, that's what it'd be like if you took my bike away, apart from the fact that I couldn't just find it again. Try that. It might solve the problem. You might not have a wife anymore. Phil Tonic, ever made a trip to Europe mainland on the bike? I wouldn't mind riding around some of Europe. France, maybe not populated areas, just the wildy areas, because as I've always said, France is a lovely country. The only problem is it's full of French. But the bigger problem is the fact that I'm on a CBT still, and I would need a full licence because the CBT does not class as a licence outside of the UK. But if I can get my solicitor on the phone like I'm trying to at the moment, maybe that day will be sooner than I thought. If I can get her to actually do some fucking work! The Car Bonnet Hornets. Have you ever read Alice in Wonderland? Can you sum it up in 5 words? I haven't actually read it myself, but some people have. I mean, I know the story, obviously, it's very famous. And some people who have read it have told me about some of the darker sides to it. And yes, I can sum it up in 5 words. Far too many fucking drugs. Sean Ellis, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, I'm probably not, apology. Why have you gone for the Jake style outro or money no object, what would you purchase? I'm going to answer the first question. Jake style outro. Now, yes, I did actually go for a Jake-ish style outro. The reason I did that is because it is very effective. It's easier, it helps with views because people can see other videos, they have a choice, they don't just have one to choose from. If that's their liking, they can click on another one. That is the reason we do it, because we want more views, because in the world of vlogging, you know, it helps. I actually talked to Jake about when I was doing this. I was like, oh, you're never going to guess how many times people are going to say I'm copying your outro style. And he was laughing. He was like, are you actually going to go for it now? Because, like, he's been saying to me for a while, it's helpful. It's something you should, you know, it helps. But even he will admit himself that he did not come up with this layout necessarily, this 3 videos thing. People have been doing that, big YouTubers have been doing it for a long time. And the internet, YouTube exists far beyond motovlogging. So just because one motovlogger started doing it that way does not mean that they originally did everything. If you, in fact, you get this a lot of people saying, oh, you're just copying. In this world, the chances of having anything that is completely unique and, you know, no one else has ever done it before. I mean, what can I say? Simpsons done it. You know what I mean. Everything's been done before, so of course, if you can find it, someone's copied everyone in every single way you can think of. However, I can't say that I've seen anyone make a cup of tea with a motorcycle. I can't say I've seen anyone have a hand grenade security system. And I can't say I've seen anyone come up with a better idea of going from air to water-cooled cooling on an engine than mine. Oh, the comments on that video. Oh my god, it's fucking ridiculous. I tell you what, I'm going to make the random video, at the end of this video, my air to water cooled engine conversion. And you just read the comments of, I'm sorry Americans, you know, I do like you very much. But you really don't get sarcasm. Some people just, okay, maybe some English people don't either, but trust me, a lot of them were American and told me, oh, he's a fucking idiot, no wonder, look, he's British. I'm English, actually. There is a big difference, so just let you know. Okay, next question, motorcyclist. It spells like anyway. Possibly an awkward one, but something I've been thinking about. Sorry, this turns into a bit of an essay question. From an educational standpoint, what's your opinion on videos involving fatalities? If the worst was to happen, would you want the footage to be uploaded? As you probably don't know, we have talked about this. Me and Jake have an agreement. I have Jake's login details, he has my login details. If one of us was to die, it means that we can rely on one another to take the channel and maybe put a video up and explain what's happened. But we both have an agreement, which is, if we were recording at the time, and if it isn't too ridiculous, no, actually no, fuck it. If we're dead, we are going to get the last video we made put online. It's very morbid, so yes, I understand your reference with this question, but is it educational? Yes. Sadly it is. Some people do need a reality check to realise that riding a motorcycle, as with a lot of things in life, but with riding a motorcycle, is a very dangerous thing, and you can get killed very easily, and it can be none of your fault. You could just be riding down the road, you know, happy as Larry, not near anyone, plenty of space, and some drunk idiot comes the other way and just slams you off the road. If you're in a car, you would have stood a better chance than if you're on a bike. Possibly, it depends on the scenario of the accident. And sometimes for some people, it takes their first crash. For me, it was my first crash, just to, you know, get a good fucking, be fucking serious. You're not as good as you think you are. Take it easy. Some people feel like if they haven't had that first little bump, maybe they are, oh yeah, I'm an excellent rider, etc, etc, but then they have their first crash and they can maybe not get back on a bike again because they didn't realise, oh my god! Because that's the only thing I get about people who say they have a crash and then they're like, oh, I won't get back on a bike again. It's like, does that mean that you hadn't considered how dangerous it was before you'd ridden? You have to accept as a reality that you could end up coming out of a crash dead, in a wheelchair, life-changing injuries, lifelong pain, all, you know. I'm so lucky the way I came out of my accident. I mean, yeah, okay, I've had 2 surgeries and shit. I don't care. I'm still walking around, I'm still laughing, I'm still fine. But I'm also riding a lot safer than I used to. Not that the accident was my fault, or avoidable, I should add, but it did, you know, it gave me a reality check. And sometimes maybe one of these very shocking videos could be a reality check. Though, I've seen a few of them, I've seen quite a few of them, and very few of them that I've seen that claim to be fatalities are through normal riding. Normally the person is going way too fast, or going for a gap that's non-existent, or just basically being dumb. And if stupidity kills you, I don't have any sympathy. It's difficult to have sympathy for someone who maybe drives down a 30-mile-an-hour road at 120 mile an hour and crashes into a car coming around the corner. Who's to blame? No one but that person riding that bike. So, as much as I dislike the fact that they get so many views because it's someone dying, and people can put comments like, fucking, yeah, good, another dead biker or something, because I've seen shit like that, and it's just like, that's ridiculous, this world, honestly. But it's the internet for you. But yes, they can, if the video itself was a good scenario of how a crash can happen, it can teach people. And it's as you know, road safety campaigns use shock to make you listen. Why don't they just show a helmet cam video of someone smashing into the side of a car as they pull out? What's more shocking in reality than that? That's not making up some story. You know, you remember the advert, the "Can you see me now? Can you see me now?" advert? Why not just have a video of it, just a straight think bike, and it's just a video of a guy smashing through the side of a car because they pulled out on him? There is nothing that would be more effective, I think, than that. And I think for some drivers, you know, and for them it can feel a bit like a game, where they think that it's acceptable to, you know, talk on their phone, text, all these sorts of things. And, you know, you wouldn't, if they saw a motorcyclist going down the road texting on his phone, they'd go apeshit, but they think it's okay to do it in their cars because you can't be seen doing it. And they're not thinking the reality, which is they see a motorcycle as a motorcycle. They don't see it as a person sitting on a motorcycle. I think that's where this this like level of aggressiveness towards motorcycles sometimes comes from. It's very, very strange. I don't understand. Apologies it was late. I have a funny feeling this video is going to be long because, as you can see here, I filled up a 16GB memory card filming up to now. There must be other stuff on there. Please be other stuff on there, otherwise it's going to be ridiculous. And I'm just making it longer. Look at this, I'm just sat here talking. Nothing really to say. Anyway, a couple of days time I'll get a normal vlog out. I might do an update after having stitches out, see if I can get my foot in a boot. But otherwise, I hope you're all good. Thank you very much. Catch you next time.
People get really creeped out by them, and it's because they've got the movement so right. They move and react and balance like a real animal would, but of course they do, because if they didn't do that,